Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Raju from Kerala Genomic Data Centre. So we'll be looking at an overview of the KGDC project, how we will act as an enabler for the bioeconomy and the KKM vision of Kerala government. So on the onset, I want to thank the organizers of Huddle, Anup Ambiga, CEO of KSUM, Dr. P.V. Unnikrishnan from KDISC, Shri Sam Santosh, who's a strategic advisor for KGDC, and the great scientists and all the professionals I work with. So KGDC is a project to establish a high-capacity data center capable of storing and processing large amount of genomic data. And when it comes to genomics, the data storage capacities has to be really huge because we work with petabytes of data. That's one part. Second is the kind of tools which are required to analyze this huge amount of data. They have a specialized tool. So bio pipelines, a lot of things are needed. So Kerala government has a huge vision and has committed around 500 crores for this project. And in the first phase, we are utilizing around 100 crores for procurement of hardware and for the genomic data generation part. And we will look it in 4 buckets. One is the agricultural genomics, which are plant genomics. Then we'll have livestock, the animal genomics part. We'll also look at microbial genomics because we believe One Health and a lot of pandemics happening, we think this data is also kind of very much needed for surveillance of new diseases emerging and also the genomic sequencing part also. So we will create a global center of excellence in bioinformatics, which will add a lot of professionals who can work with genomic data for creating startups and an ecosystem for personalized medicine and many other avenues. So let's look at how these applications will drive multiple industries. For example, let's look at human in the first category. There will be subcategories like population genomics, which will look at diverse human populations for research into population genetics, evolutionary biology, and genetic epidemiology. So for example, most of the human current genomic data reveals that we actually came from Africa, most of the genomes. And then, like a state like Kerala has a very diverse set of genomic data. And one interesting thing with Kerala is from the Kasaragod to Kanyakumari, we have a huge forest cover. That also gets us a big biodiversity pool, but at the same time, there has been interactions between animals and plants and the humans. So there's a lot of diseases which can transfer between this. Examples has been HapMap project data globally. Then we can also look at disease-specific genomics, data sets related to various diseases. Central government has a project in sickle cell anemia. Their objective is to eradicate sickle cell anemia by 2035. So we can also tap into this disease where this can be very, very problematic for the affected population. So Kerala has a good tribal population in Attapadi in Palakkad and also the Wayanad region close to Calicut. Then when we come to the plant categories, we will analyze genomic data from different categories of plants for research into plant genetics, evolutionary biology, and crop improvement. Examples can be, we can look at large trees, we can look at medicinal plants. Kerala is a great place for Ayurveda and medicinal plants. So how can we improve them on creating value-added products? That's one. Second can be crops, like rice varieties, and very indigenous crops can be protected for pest resistance and also improving the output. When we come to animal, there can be subcategories into, we can categorize animals for research into animal genetics, veterinary science, and biodiversity conservation. Then comes the microbial part, as I mentioned. So we are facing a huge antimicrobial resistance for most of the diseases. So typically hospitals across India, across the globe are worried about superbugs. So if you get a superbug infection, no antibiotic can save you. So we'll have to constantly monitor the entire surveillance part to kind of look at how this can be used. So Kerala government has a One Health program currently being piloted with the health department. So we will actively work with health department to make it possible. So let's look at how the infrastructure will look like. This is the high-level overview of the infrastructure. So we'll have the high-performance computing clusters, which will look at how we can also analyze data using the CPU, computer nodes, and GPU. So we'll have a tier 1 storage and tier 2 storage and tier 3 tape library. And this will be used to create the entire cluster compute layer. And we'll also have a security layer. We believe that this data is very much important, has to be secure, so we'll have multiple levels of security. And then users can have access it and with really great controls. We are currently implementing the entire GPU network inside the Digital University Kerala, who's our partner for this project. And again, a lot of our activities will be done through a collaboration with the leading life science institutes in the state. Now, beyond the hardware stack, we'll also enable building a software tool stack. So, as I mentioned, analyzing the genomic data is not an easy process. We need very specialized software, biopipelines. And if, say for example, we have RGCB, QSAT, etc., they also are doing a lot of genomic research, but the kind of software is required to analyze, most of them will not be able to kind of buy all the software. So we'll act as a entire channel where any researcher can plug into a system and create value for them. So for example, when we look at the genomic analysis pipelines, the initial set of raw data will go to the BLC to FAST2Q systems and will go to the sequence data part. From there, we'll also utilize the phenotypic data. So that includes multiple traits of the persons, and that will be utilized for mapping through a reference genome. And again, we can look at the analytical tools to create the entire variance to create the last part of it, which is the output. And we will build specialized software through our bioinformatics team who's building platform as a service through KGDC. Now again, look at plant genome, how we can add a value here. So using the KGDC software toolkit, we can study the different aspects of the plant. For example, how soil can be, some of the nutrients can be changed to improve crop quality and the output. And this specialized tools will help researchers to look at creating value from some of the value-added crops in Kerala, including spices and other cash crops. Now, I also want to take you through the UK Biobank, which is one of the pioneers in this space. So currently, they are a large-scale biomedical database research resource, but only focusing on human genomics. They contain in-depth genetic and health information from 500,000 UK individuals. That also has Indians, because UK population also has other people from other countries who have migrated to UK. So those genomic data is also available. This database is available to approved researchers in the UK and abroad for various health research projects. And the UK government has been investing in this. They have invested around $1 billion on this over the last 15 years. Now, if you look at the value created for UK Biobank project, the government invested $1 billion, and the current value of UK Biobank is around $11 billion. Now, with KGDC, what we are looking at is on a long-term vision is to invest around $100 million to create value of more than $100 billion through the data and various services that we'll be providing. Now, since we are in this entire Gen AI space with more models coming up, from the initial OpenAI to the Llama, the last models which has come up from Anthropic, to multiple models which are there. Now, the cost to compute is one of the major constraints for creating new products in AI space. And genomics is not very different, because when the cost of compute can be decreased, startups can use the services to create better services and products. So if you look at the major companies in the US, including Apple, Tesla, NVIDIA, Meta, and Google, these top AI companies are already 30% of the US GDP. And we believe that countries like India should also have a leverage by creating our own infrastructure for AI computing, so that we can distribute this cost so that they can train, deploy, and create value. Now, this is a very recent article which came last week. So, since the cost of compute can be a constraint, countries like Japan, they are actually investing in the computing supercomputers. For example, SoftBank is investing in NVIDIA's new Blackwell chips, so that they get the chips on day one, so that they can accelerate AI development, create AI agents, etc. And the last part is how KGDC will harp on this vision. So we will, initially as I mentioned, the hardware infrastructure will be created and the software part. So this will help us to create customized data curation services and management, create our own software and tools, training for skilled professionals who may require more set of training for improving their most of these services part. We'll also be consulting with multiple companies who wants to build on top of the data layers. We'll have partnerships and collaborations. Kerala, we have identified currently more than 125 life science institutes spread from Trivandrum to Kasaragod, but we believe there can be more institutions that we can collaborate with, and we will make sure that they get the best infrastructure to work on. We'll also be utilizing various grants from leading impact funds who are working on genomics and biodiversity, so we will tap into those networks also. And again, we'll license the data in the coming years. So this kind of adds to the vision of KKEM, making Kerala a knowledge economy, creating more than 1 million jobs in the next 5 to 10 years' time. So thank you for your patient listening.